So I'm going to do. I apologize if the wind is bad, and that's because I think I mentioned there's a storm coming, and I'm trying to get this done before the storm comes. Man, this is a bummer. These roots are hugging. Is there anyone there? Because I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing if you're interested, but if no one's there and listening, I'm just going to shut up. What's going on, Ninja? So, just so you know, I'm basically trying to take these 3 plants that were potted together, remove them and pot them individually. But right now what I'm doing is trying to rinse all of the soil out because I don't want to use the soil it came with. I don't know if what fertilizers or pesticides or any of that stuff it has. So in this bin right here is my own substrate. So I'm going to rinse as much as I can of this out and replant them. I'll be right back. I'm going to go dump this. How's the wind sounding today? Starting off here on this one. I'm running out of water. Last plant anyway. So that's not that bad. Sorry, I probably need to speak up a little bit. My bad. miss anything? Yeah, I don't know how to do any of this formally. I've never really done it. I just kind of wing it. So 2 down, 1 more to go. I'm going to take a nice long bath after this. No, I didn't remove or check any of that. But generally speaking, most of these are sold with the under the premise that you're going to repot them. More so when they come in like threes like this. Straight out of substrates. Repotting plants. What's that? Escape convict. So this plant, and that plant were all in that. So I'm just reaching. Hey cat, I'm not going to spray him. What you do is get clear the water.
Yeah, I think he's a little freaked out. Hey! Either that or he's just like really wanting to walk around. Which I haven't seen a lot of hawks out this year yet.
I have. on mine a lot.
Yeah.
And I meant to tell you too. I meant to tell Clay also. The coyote I saw on this side the other day. I mean, he came from me to your door, just looking at me. So.
Hey.
But I was also watching a deer, and I think he was actually trying to get the deer, and just I was in the way.
He's been pretty much sleeping now since I got home.
Is it? I'm live streaming, so remember I'm saying. No, I don't want you to say anything. But is it everything well? I don't want to.
Yeah, no, she took a COVID test and came back negative. So more than likely, there's a flu bubble.
Yep, my kids had it. Who was it I was talking to? So yeah, it's basically going around. I don't remember who I was talking to about something similar. I'm excited for that plant. That's the first time I'm ever going to try a hanging one.
Oh, cool. Be on the balcony if you need anything.
Yeah, I'm going to be heading in a minute. I know it's supposed to start raining soon. So Ninja, generally speaking, you're not wrong. It's part of what I want to do to propagate these is get them out of the fertilizers and stuff and pesticides and chemicals. I want to get them out and into something different as soon as I can, so it pulls all of that out. Because I'm going to start repropagating these as they grow, cutting them and using them in my different things. So I want to, as quickly as can, get all of that out. So what happens with a lot of these is very often they struggle for the first bit. You'll see the as they readjust. So I usually, like I say, it's a good mix of soil that I use, and I don't use any kind of fertilizer, or I should say any kind of unnatural stuff. And I'm about out of water here. So the wind is picking up because that storm's coming in, and I am about done. So I'm kind of putting all this together. This didn't take too long, not a half hour. And Ninja, if you, I don't know how well this shows up because my glare is right, but what you're seeing here is what the stuff came in, and if you look at it, it's mostly just coir fiber, which is like coconut husk. So this is also in what is in there a little bit, along with other stuff. So I think that, again, this is more of just keeping hydration in there. And if you couldn't see very well, most of them had like a wrap around the root, the base of the root system that held what was more of the fertilizer stuff closer to the roots, and then this is all that's kind of left. And as you can see, it is just uniformly coconut fiber. So the substrate I'm putting them into is arguably more stable, nutritious. It has nutritional value, whereas this is more just retaining water. It's not healthy. It's not unhealthy for them. It's more of just a base substrate that doesn't provide much nutritional value. I'm a little nervous about this one because I don't know if you're familiar with, they don't have the bottom. It's just a guy, what I think is actually coir fiber, and it retains water, but if you put too much, it'll go through. So I don't know what I'm going to do exactly with this one. I definitely do not want to leave it outside, at least right now, because we're still getting freeze spells and the such. Yeah, I'm assuming these plants are not as sensitive as bonsais and others. Again, it's what I would have. It is kind of a base assumption on my part, but I can't imagine them selling 3 in a pot this size, no, expecting you to leave them in there. But I did not look into that specifically for these. And I think I told in the original video where I got these, I have no idea what any of these plants are. They came in this with the only thing on the bottom saying grown in Canada, and it's a flower set, and they're not flowers. So I want to see. It's a very gray day, and like I mentioned, it's going to start storming. And I was going to see if I could get you guys a good view of something, but it's just gray skies everywhere. I mean, maybe you'll see some birds fly by. I'm going to start taking this stuff up, and then I'll come back and say hi and bye and chat for a little bit. Let me see, 1, 2, I'm going to have about 3 or maybe 4 trips. And I can put this in there. I guess what I could do, at least for the interim, is just leave you looking at my plants. But I just want to show again, I'm very fascinated. Those 3 plants were in this. And they just, the way that the fact that they plopped them in there, this is smaller than both. Oh, I can't really see it. This pot is smaller than all 3 of these, and they were all in this. Hey, don't talk foul about Justin Trudeau. I wonder if I can. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can carry it in like that. Sun seemed like it was about to creep out. So when I'm done here, I'm gonna go try and finish putting together all the stuff I have to put away, mainly the canned goods, the heavy stuff that I got from that food pantry. I may just leave them on the floor until tomorrow when my back loosens up a little bit, but we will see. We will see. Yeah, I wouldn't vote for Trudeau. I definitely didn't. Did you get to vote for Larry Elder in that recall election a couple years ago? In fact, I heard did he put in for president 2024? Did I mishear that? The more I go out on my walks, the more I'm disconnected from stuff like that, which is kind of a positive give and take. It's one or the other. I don't mind. In fact, speaking of masks, I read somewhere, but I'm willing to bet I misread it wrong or I was reading it out of context because I went to that veteran food pantry. They had some information, and in one of the pamphlets they had that veteran hospital lifted its mask mandate, but I don't know if that's federal hospital, so I'm going to call on Monday because I haven't been to the VA hospital since January of 2021 because they won't let me in without a mask. Even though part of the reason I need to go to the VA to get help is to see why when I put on masks I keep getting cellulitis infections and styes and infections and rashes. So their rationale is, Steve-O, we know it's dangerous for you to put a mask on. So put a mask on and come see us. And I'm like, that's retarded. I'm not smart, but that's retarded. So I'm not going to do that. They were like, hey, have you tried a cloth mask? I was like, yeah, that's when I got the rash here. Have you tried a face shield? Yeah, that's when I got the sty in my eye. A 40-year-old man for the first time in my life gets a sty in my eye the day after I wear the day of that I wear that face shield. It's amazing. I just didn't wear the right mask yet. What's going on? Oh, the irony of your statement and error right there, Ninja. My back. I wish I had a friend or like someone who was either in the trade of like massage therapy or like in the beginning stages where they're at school and need to do it all for free and like, hey, anyone need a massage? Oh, man. I like this plant and hope it stays this vibrant. That color pattern is really neat. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least the 4 colors initially without any of the bleed over. One thing I'm debating is putting my GoPro on my chest when it rains here. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to usually burp right into the camera. But I want to go get my GoPro vest on, put my phone in a baggie so it doesn't get wet, and just go walk with my GoPro on in the forest and stuff during the storm. Or maybe just go out for a walk in the storm, see what it's like. But I got to make sure I protect that camera, or my actual phone, which I need on to live stream through my GoPro. So we'll see how that all works out. I may just stay in and do the responsible thing and relax. put groceries away. The kiddos are coming back this Sunday, so I got to make sure I get all that done. And it's Michigan, so you never know, but the weather says it's supposed to rain on and off intermittently from today through tomorrow, at least afternoon / early evening. But it's Michigan, so I'm guessing what's going to happen is it's going to rain a little bit, at least around here. I do want to get back to I like putting my GoPro out on when I know it's going to rain like this, and try to leave it out at that point where you can actually see, if I do a good time lapse, you can see that water rises fast when these storms come. It's fast. It's phenomenal. And I still want to get like a canoe or a kayak for something like that. Walkers in the storm. I already had the day where I went for that walk in the winter during that one blizzard, and I think my phone, or the GoPro, before it froze, lasted 16 minutes. Thing tapped out before I did, a piece of garbage, and I'm not even that good. It was like this GoPro 9 or whatever. I'm still like the Steve-O version #1, and I can outlast a GoPro. Oh, I think I felt the raindrop. When it does, or if it does, I'm going to, at the very least, either end this or just go throw it under the balcony over there. Again, my phone, I got to protect it. Unless you guys are going to buy me a new one. Which reminds me, I hope Wally's not here, because I sent him some wood yesterday. I can't wait till he gets it. I think a bee had landed on my neck a minute ago. What are we at here? 44 minutes and some change. I'll do about 5, maybe 10 more minutes. And like I said, at that point, I'm going to go back in, set these up, and put away some more stuff and redo the pantry. Simon hasn't been in any of these streams lately. I guess I got too big for him. He's so jealous now. Probably after the whole Moss incident. What probably happened is he's crying all the time. Steve's got such superior moss. I go out on my walks and I gotta go far and wide to find such voluminous moss. Such loamy and earthy moss. Boo-hoo-hoo.
Amigo, what, you singing?
Talking to some people in California. I can't sing very good. You want to sing?
Yeah.
You want to go to apartment 29 East Home?
Let me see, because I just come for 52, the one that we have in the morning.
Volumos. Oops, sorry, I bonked the camera.
What?
I don't drink very frequently, and I'm not going to today, but man, this is one of those days I wish I had one more left in the fridge that had to go. Because today would be the day to enjoy that. A ginger ale, like Mickey Redmond says during the Red Wing games. Oh, speaking of Red Wings and hockey, and neither of which have, well, I guess it's hockey, but I don't know if you know about it, but take care. Was it Carolina and Florida Panthers went into 4 overtimes yesterday, which is 3 regular periods, then 3 20-minute overtime periods, which that in of itself is like watching 2 hockey games back to back. And then they went into the 4th overtime, which I wish, I think that's one of the things I'm going to splurge on this next hockey season, is whatever the NHL package is, just to be able to watch Red Wing games or hockey games in general, because I'd be watching those right now. But sitting down for like 4 or 5 hours watching a hockey game is amazing. And just what blows me away is like the goalies in full hockey pads. I mean, it's tough in general, but like being a goalie for 120 something odd minutes and is just it's better them than me, I guess. Oops, keep hitting the stand. Yeah, that for a hockey nerd like me, that's it's so much fun. And like, I mean, on top of the fact that you get to watch 2 hockey games, the fact that it's in the those overtime sudden death for, next goal wins, you're always on edge. And typical of that, like I always say, if you get bored and watch it, Florida scored, and the overtime hockey goals in the playoffs are notorious for just being the ugliest, sloppiest goals. Where, again, you're an extra hour into a game, 80 minutes into a game, you're just like, oh my God, I'm just shooting this on net. And more of like a dump in or frustration, or you're trying to get the face off deep in the zone to get the other guys out, and it goes in. And it's just fascinating the way that works out. I love it and hate it at the same time, because you're on edge. As soon as the other team gets it and they're coming into your zone, they're like, oh my God, please just dump it in the corner. Don't shoot it at the goalie, because if you do, there's a chance it's going to go in. And this is one fascinating thing about hockey, that it's only a new phenomenon relatively, because the way hockey used to work when I was younger is you'd play the 3 periods. If it was tied, you would just go into overtime, and if that overtime period no one scored, it would be a tie. They got rid of that because they wanted to get more points, and they instituted shootouts. So the peculiar thing about a shootout is that, and this would never have happened pre-shootout era. Well, I guess it could, because you could still have the 2 go into overtime with a 0-0 game, but you couldn't have 2 goalies. Again, it's difficult to classify this, but in overtime, it still counts as a win, but a loss in overtime counts differently than a normal loss. So you can have 2 goalies go into a game, allow 0 goals, neither of them get a loss, both of them get a shutout during the game, but one of them has to lose because in the shootout it dictates that a goal be scored, and I kind of don't like that. And yeah, hockey is phenomenal like that, and I think what is more unique about hockey is more players dedicated to the game than anything else. There's a lot more culture in hockey, so much so and you do see it in other sports, but I just challenge you to think of how many, because I could list so many in the NHL, from Lemieux to Yzerman. Well, I can't say Gretzky because he hopped teams, but there are players who, in essence, they play for a team for the whole career. And if anything, it's usually like their last couple years of their season, of their career, I should say, that they go to another place to, usually it's because the team they're on needs to cut salary cap, and they need to get rid of older, more established players. And that's part of the process. Whereas in most other sports, you see a guy chasing those massive deals, willing to leave teams, LeBron James being the prime example of that. In hockey, players would never forgive a player like LeBron James from their hometown. Like, I can still remember Marian Hossa doing that, a very similar thing. Came here and won a Stanley Cup with Detroit, and then leaves immediately to hop on a bigger contract with Chicago. Hockey players or hockey fans look at things a lot more differently. Like, if we were to land Sidney Crosby today, I'm not always comfortable with that as a Red Wings fan, because there are situations where, as I say, if they're at that point in their career, he's a prime example where he's a twilight player. He's on the outs, but he's still a phenomenal, easy top 10, top 20 player in the NHL, but top 10 probably. where again they need if they want to bring in 3 younger players to develop in the absence of him, they start to look for ways to get him out. But what the Marion Hosas and other players do, Lemieux did that, a couple players, they're notorious for coming in, going into those teams and just using it as a means to get more money. And you missed all the good stuff, Elizabeth. As you can see, I moved all the plants and we're just kind of hanging out now. So but that's a big thing, and it's one of those things where in hockey, at the same time, like I was mentioning how we hate players who do that, it's one of those bittersweet things where one of the players you love goes to another team. Like, for example, a prime example is this year, and it didn't work out that way. I'm kind of happy. The Boston Bruins, I hate. They're the number one team I dislike in hockey. Bertuzzi, a phenomenal player. He's been with the Red Wings since he played, I want to say 7 or 8 years. Sadly, went to the Bruins, and if they had won a Stanley Cup, I'd be happy for them because Bertuzzi would win, but I still don't want them to win as Boston hockey. Hockey players, I mean, the hockey culture is just, a lot of people don't understand. I mean, in Detroit, not so much now, but still, like Red Wing jerseys, if it's a hockey family, people wear hockey jerseys to Red Wings and formal occasions and things like that. It's absurd in a way. And I don't know, Elizabeth. That's one thing I'm trying to figure out. I took the pot up, but all of these I got in a trilogy of plants. I make it sound so hyped up, but these were all in one thing, and they didn't come with any of the names on them. So I'm kind of curious myself. I need to start researching them, and I'm eager because this is something I'm trying new. Because this plant was hanging, as you can kind of see. So I'm trying this hanging plant thing now. Experiment with that. I didn't see what you said. Bring that back up. I don't know what Google Lens is. Now, what I'm going to assume is it's something like iNaturalist, but on a broader lens or broader scale. Or, I'm not sure if you're familiar with what iNaturalist is, which is funny because I want to start using that more. Which I wonder if it would work for these plants. I probably could use iNaturalist for this, now that I think about that. And that's one other thing I want to do at some point. Yeah, okay, and that something similar. iNaturalist is a little bit different, but same concept, I guess. But I want to, like, mention about putting that GoPro on my chest, and I want to go out with the iNaturalist app and just see what kind of stuff it can identify out there. It's a trip. Is Google Lens an app, or can you like go to use it on a regular site? Because my whole thing is I generally don't, if I can't use it without using an app, I don't want to use it. Yeah, that's the only bummer. I remember a world without apps, and I miss those days. How will I do this? Yeah, I'm going to wrap up here in a minute, but I want to show you what I like about this. Where was it now? So even when wet, it makes like these colors stand out. Oops, even more. I like the way that reddish pink, again, when sprayed down, you can see it just kind of makes it stand out just a little more. So this is one of, in fact, I guess I'll just, this is the reason I bought, I saw this and I wanted I was like, I don't care what else came with it. I just wanted this. And then this is phenomenal too. I was very happy with this. That pink is not super vibrant, but it's vibrant enough. And then this is the plainest, but this is that hanging one. So hopefully all goes well with these. identifying plants or keeping plants, because I'm just now finally starting to get into a rhythm of being able to competently keep plants. I've been awful for so long. Yeah, it was who was it? Simon at Mantis Garden, I think it was, introduced me to the term black thumb, and that's basically what I had for a long time. And like I say, it's kind of ironic that doing isopods and dealing with all the bioactive things is kind of what has me now being more aware and conscious of how to. Oh, I feel rain, so I'm going to start kind of hopping out. Being able to recreate those systems that are beneficial and optimal and all of that. We're going to be wrapping up here in a moment. Thank you for hanging out, per usual. One thing I want to do is, this tree always just fascinates me because it's so, how would I say this? It's active. I like it. But what I mean is, you can watch it so distinctly change during the seasons, and so much so that I forget if it's the little helicopter things or the little white flower petals at the end of the season, but like just watching this thing go from like it is now to where it was, you know, last month, where it was just a dead tree with no leaves. Then I say it goes so distinctly from that to those where things are falling off, and it just, like I say, I think it's just because it stands out here kind of off by itself. I just want to set up the camera and do like every day, film this thing for like the duration of a battery, and then do a compilation of it. I think that'd be really neat. But that day is not today. Feed it to your isopods. Can you see this bee? Yeah, I'm filming you. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Like I always say, you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of my stream. And as I kind of did mention, I don't think I'm going to be streaming at least outdoors for a bit because it's supposed to rain and storm over the next few days, but we'll see when we get there. But take care of yourselves, take care of the ones you love, and we'll see you when we see you.